This is a good YouTube.
One of the best.
FCC. Ebro listening to music. Shawnee listening to music. I can't hear the music. DJ John is here.
One and only.
How's
I
your
had, I had a good day yesterday with points.
You did?
Yeah, 28.
Saying with authority.
You weren't cheating, were you?
Again.
No.
You sure, John?
And I had some snacks.
Stash
too.
spot for the so-called law, which Iran was a nigga that they never saw behind me. But they scared of a nigga, so they maced me to blind me.
The range of conversations
Work,
that
I
happen.
just laugh.
I love it.
That's the step in my path. In the police, I'm saying, fuck you, punk. It's all junk.
I just want to get in my veggie wraps.
Fake ass badge and a gun
They're
in your
delicious
hand.
at one point.
You'll see what's up and we'll go at it, punk, and I'll fuck you up.
How delicious is a veggie wrap for 1 point?
Well, the wrap is made out of vegetables. Just the wrap itself is 1 point. And then I add like either, I made this slapping Chipotle chicken last night. Slapping. Felt like I was back in my dad's restaurant. I was like, ooh.
How'd you make it?
I thin sliced it, and then and some of the chicken I made like chunks. At first I put like salt and pepper on it, and then I took this chipotle sauce. It's called I gotta send you it, but it's like for like
Till they start doing it right, this is the move. Transparency is the zone. Facts. That's the zone. Cast 1, 97 minutes, commercial free. It's Hot 97.
How you feel about this bullshit?
I'm tired of the motherfucker jacking. Sweating my gang while I'm chilling in the shack and shining the light in my face, and for what? Maybe it's because I kick so much, but I can't get sad. Or maybe because I blast on a stupid inside when I'm playing with the trigger of an Uzi or an AK. Because the police always got something stupid to say. They put out my picture with silence. Because my identity by itself causes violence. Or E with the criminal behavior. Yeah, I'm a gangster, but still I got flavor. Without a gun and a badge, what do you got? A sucker in a uniform waiting to get shot by me or another. And with a gat, it don't matter if he's smaller or bigger. And as y'all know, E's here to rule. Whenever I'm rolling, keep looking in the mirror, and it's on cue, yo, so I can hear a dumb motherfucker with the gun. And if I'm rolling up the 8, he'll be the one that I take out and then get away while I'm driving off laughing. This is what I'll say. Police.
97 minutes of non-stop hip-hop. DJ Cast 1 with Ebro in the morning on Hot 97.
You see me outside?
Yeah, so the Chipotle sauce is the Constantina.
Which article, Laura? All right, John.
Breonna Taylor article.
What about it?
You said you had a Breonna Taylor.
If you literally Google Breonna Taylor story, the first thing that comes up is the New York Times.
Check it out. Do you guys want to do one of those videos that tells her story?
Sure, we
It
can.
just opens up. All we got to record is like, do you guys, us three saying, do you know what happened to Breonna Taylor? And then boom, it cuts to the edited video.
Do you have are you able to do that?
Rasan, can we rip it? From
Yeah.
Janelle or Angie or anybody who has it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anybody that has it, but I could rip it from IG and put you guys in the front.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, we can do it after the show.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
No problem.
Shawnee, you didn't say what's up to YouTube.
YouTube.
You television. Wagwan people there. What things are going? You television. Oh, we live.
Oh,
Can
yeah.
anybody explain
What's
the
up, YouTube?
oppressive slave master with the whip on the NYPD badge?
Yeah, I want to know.
Don't tell me he's a damn sailor. And he was using the rope for navigation.
Rope for navigation.
Hi, Hot Rizzy. Let me see.
He was using the rope to see what direction they was trying to go in.
Hello, Zio. Good morning. What's popping, guys? What's popping, YouTube fam?
Yeah. It helps you when the music talks.
Yeah.
It does. Helps you when the music talks. 800-223-9797 parents. You got young kids and they're seeing what's going on out here. Are you having those conversations in your house about Black Lives Matter, about police brutality, about racism and white supremacy?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you trying to avoid it? Maybe your kids are so young they've asked you questions and you didn't know how to respond. Or did you just sit them down in front of the Elmo video from Sesame Street? I had to talk with my 5-year-old about evil.
Mm-hmm.
About bad people and bad human beings. And people who want to cause harm.
How'd that go?
You seem to understand that. Y'all remember, unfortunately, I've already had to deal with the reality that a kid spit in my daughter's face.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the kid still goes to the school. Matter of fact, I think we saw the kid yesterday, and the kid still speaks to her. She told me yesterday, I was like, you didn't speak to your friend. She was like, yeah, he spit in my face. I don't really like that.
She remembers that. That was a while ago, right?
It was within the year, but, it was a traumatic. She didn't like it that it happened. She didn't know what to do. I had to talk to her about it because I was 5 years old the first time I got called the N-word. I was in kindergarten. The first time I beat someone up for calling me the N-word was in kindergarten.
And you knew what it meant. You knew the energy.
I'm not quite sure. I just knew he was calling me a name.
Right.
But after that, I had to, and parents find a way to articulate these things in terms that kids understand, which is, for Isso's, this event that took place, she knows that dad expects her to punch someone in the face the moment they make a move like that again. Mm-hmm. And yes, you might get in trouble. But that's known as good trouble.
Facts.
Unfortunately, because that's how people learn not to mess with you. We're learning that right now in society. We're watching people snatch down Christopher Columbus statues. They took the head off the one in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
People are defacing property. You got people peacefully protesting. You got people tearing their shit up. The message is getting across, though. Stop playing with us.
Right.
They passed laws quick, fast, in a hurry in New York State. We're going to have Andrea Stewart Cousins on later, who is the Senate Majority Leader in Albany. She's going to tell us the laws. And that's something else that we learned in having a conversation with her. Oftentimes, we hear police talk about something's been banned. Mm-hmm. Or we have a new policy. But unless there is a law enacted that ban or that policy does not give the person or the family of the person who's getting killed by a police officer the right legal recourse, and us as the citizens the right legal recourse to charge that police officer with a crime, because they haven't broken a law. They just did something that's against the rules. You see the difference?
Yeah. So you're saying it's important to
pass the law. And if they won't pass the law, like they are in New York State, to ban chokeholds, there is a law against chokeholds now. And we'll talk to Andrew Stewart Cousins about that. So that means if someone dies because an officer is using a chokehold, that officer is going to be charged with a crime.
And who votes on these things?
Oh, you know, your local politicians, representatives, state level senators.
Well,
how do they get
we
into
need
office?
Cuomo to sign
Oh,
off
because
on
you
it.
got to vote so that you could get the people in to pass these laws.
Got it, but man, all politicians are evil, man. They're all just the same.
They might
bro.
be, and they might be wings on the same bird if you don't hold them accountable.
Yeah, because listen, the only reason that Cuomo's changed his tune is because everyone's putting the pressure.
Exactly. It's not because they got their hearts in the right place. It's because they scared and they don't want no problem.
However, Shawnee, there are bad politicians who ain't changing because of pressure.
Yeah, well,
Like for instance, they're calling Mitch McConnell chokehold Mitch right now, because at the federal level, they're trying to pass a federal law, not just state, across the nation. The government of the United States says chokeholds against the law.
That's what's up.
Mitch McConnell is standing in the way. Guess what state he represents?
I wonder.
Kentucky. Guess what else happened in Kentucky? Breonna Taylor.
Wow.
So if you live in Kentucky
Leave
and
now.
you're not voting, leave now. Now move.
You live in Kentucky and you black, run.
Now vote, man. Vote. Are you having conversations with your kids? That's what we was talking about.
Yeah.
Shawnee, are you?
Absolutely, man. I mean, one of the main conversations I have with my sons is to be vocal, right? So if something is bothering you or you see something, you have to be vocal about the things that are making you uncomfortable.
See something, say something.
Yeah, because, you know, they try to silence our voice. Even this is what it is right now. You know, people are now being loud because they didn't want to hear us a long time ago, you know, and they want you to be quiet and protest peacefully, but then they don't do anything about it. So sometimes you have to be very vocal about the things that are making you upset. Like her being spit in the face. She's like, nah, I'm not with that. And I'm taking a stance. And it's important for them and anybody in life to find your voice, you know? So I encourage that from them.
Kim, you had a conversation with your 13-year-old recently.
I did. Good morning, guys. I just want to say thank you for having these conversations on air. My daughter is 13. She goes to a predominantly white private school. It's just her and another black child in her grade. And I've had to have these conversations early on when Kaepernick started kneeling, because, you know, a lot of the children in her class are Trump supporters. And because of their parents. And, you know, she came home in tears one day when we didn't understand why Kaepernick was kneeling. So we had to have these conversations early on. And as a black child, I tell her, you have to go harder than them. You have to show them that you're not just black. You're black and you're smart and you belong here. You know, so it's conversations that we need to have with our children that are colored, to just let them know that they're important, and what other people say around them doesn't matter, because it's going to carry on from school to work life. They have to learn now so they know how to navigate later.
That's real. And if anybody gets fly, punch them in the eye.
Period.
That's it. Sometimes that's all they want and all they need to understand it. Stay out the way.
It's true. It's true.
Now, something dawned on me in that conversation. I think it may be useful for some families out there who maybe have kids who are in environments where they are one of the few black kids. That was a lot of my time going to school. I was one of a few black kids at the school. And it was always a problem. And specifically when I was really young, because, you know, when you're in elementary school, you don't really want to be the the outsider of the crowd. You don't want to be different. You don't have the courage to just be different. And as a black kid, you already know you're different. But then when they talk about slavery and you're the only black kid in the classroom and everybody turn and look at you, it's the worst feeling. Because everybody's looking at you and you're like, what?
Right.
Like, and you got to be equipped to deal with that feeling of being like, oh, wow, man, damn. Yeah, my people were slaves. And all of you white people are looking at me right now. A similar thing is happening to black folks right now during this Black Lives Matter movement. It's because now if you operate in a space where you're one of a few black folks, the white people are looking at you like, what are we supposed to do? How can we help? And on some days, you're feeling like, oh, dope. Let's have this convo. On other days, you want to go, yo, what you looking at? What would you do if it was your people?
Right.
Do that. Whatever you would do if you saw people like you being killed just because of how they look, what would you do? Stop asking stupid questions. Stop playing dumb. But that's happening right now in society. Yes. Remember, black folks are only 13% of the population. So in many, many scenarios, black folks are going out and about and you're the only black person or one of a few. And the whole world's rallying behind you. And in your regular life, just trying to go about your business. Now white people are being extra polite. They're saying, excuse me and thank you all of a sudden. Remember when you used to hold the door open, you'd be like, why that white person just walk by like I'm supposed to hold the door for them? You don't know how to say thank you?
Right. Looking at you like you don't belong.
And everybody's posting and turning over their Instagram pages and, you know, everybody wants to, and it's like I said, on many days, it's appreciative and it's dope. On other days, sometimes you want to go, oh, now y'all want to come to the party. Now you want to pay attention. A couple years ago, Kaepernick was kneeling. None of y'all couldn't even stop watching effing football. You couldn't stop watching football. Think about that.
Right.
Now I'm supposed to sit with you in a meeting and talk to you about what you could have just stopped watching football. Mm-hmm. And maybe we would have made some moves. Yeah. But now we got to sit and see George Floyd get strangled and murdered in the street. And now you want to have a convo. So is that what it takes? Murder? Because you could have just not watched football.
But Ebro, you think that was the line? Was not watching football?
It was a line.
It was a line.
It was a line that would have made some noise and got some people some attention. And it was all scrambled up and mishmashed and allowed to be so by many media outlets.
But that one was, I just felt that one was confusing in general.
It wasn't confusing.
Yes, it was. The entire league playing was black.
It wasn't.
The entire league playing was black.
Because they don't have support local. They don't have people that have their back. You think they didn't want
to play? You think they wanted to not?
No, of course they wanted to play. I was just saying they could have took a knee. They was afraid for their jobs.
But that's
and if people would have stopped watching, they still would have got paid. And they still would have played. Putting it on the players is a cop-out. That's a cop-out. So now that somebody died in the street, now everybody want to have the convo. And as a black person walking around, all eyes are on you now. When really all eyes should be on the people who couldn't stop watching football and who couldn't stop what they were doing to actually take time out for people dying in the street. Think about that. It's 2020, bro. Y'all knew what the drill was. It was clear. Police brutality was the message. There was plenty of messages out there of Cap and everybody else saying this is what it is. And even Hove going, yo, we beyond kneeling. We're going to try something else. No, we're not, bro. No, we're not. Money ain't enough. And I was patient with all of it, but now we're here. And you got to talk to your babies about white supremacy, racism, slavery, KKK, and all of that. Your babies. You got soccer moms and simps. They got to talk about it. Everybody got to talk about it now. So the next time somebody comes across and says, yo, there's an effing problem. People are dying in the street because of how they look at the hands of people with a badge and a gun. Maybe y'all will listen.
By the way, people could have cared before that. Before there was even anything about football. You know,
I
people,
was just
people
once
could have
again,
looked at American history.
Rosenberg, I was trying not to make this about you, bro.
No, I'm not making it about me either.
I'm just saying.
That's the line?
No, there was a line. There was
There've been
a
so
line.
many lines,
but that was the most recent one that you couldn't take, and a lot of other people couldn't take.
But there were so many other opportunities to open your eyes to what was going on.
But that was the A1.
It was.
I'm pointing to the most recent one, a clear one that the whole nation was looking at.
Yeah, and that was the biggest conversation. And for the life of me, like, they continue to make it about the flag, no matter how much times we explained, Cap explained, everyone explained. They switched the narrative.
100%.
They made it un-American when it was so intentional.
Darren, you had to talk to your nieces and nephews.
Yes, man. I just want to say thank you. Much love to everybody on the station. I respect what y'all doing. You're doing God's work right now. Yeah, I had to talk to my nieces and nephews and my brother about how they have to operate in these times. They got to really know that they have to keep their head about them, keep their wits about them, and know that you seem as less than from the jump. So what you have to do in these times is just stay focused. Keep your health. Health is wealth. Keep your health about you, and make sure you're not keeping up with no nonsense. Especially when you see these people, they dying for nothing. You dying for nothing. You don't have no weapon. You don't have nothing, but you dying in the street. So,
but you gotta stay focused.
Any way you moving, you gotta keep that energy. Keep that energy because it's sad right now, and I got to the point where I'm numb. Like I don't know how to think. I don't know how to move. Sometimes I just got to keep my mind on the straight path, keep tunnel vision. And I can see what you're saying about these people not caring. It hurts. It really hurts.
Thank you, Darren. Y'all, I'm gonna post a video. CC Sabathia has a podcast. And he had a bunch of athletes on talking about how they're talking to their sons. And a few of them have sons who are turning 16. They're about to start driving. Yeah. And hearing these multi-million-dollar successful world-renowned athletes talk about the reality that you still just a nigga though. Like you gotta behave a certain way. My son needs to cut his hair. Like I'm concerned about my son, the cool hairstyle. I don't want my son to wear the cool hairstyle because the cool hairstyle, a police officer might think he's a certain type of person for the cool hairstyle.
Sure. If you're a celebrity's kid
and you're driving your dad's car,
you're driving your dad's car in a neighborhood that's predominantly white.
How you afford this car, boy? Yeah.
Which, by the way, is the thing that is the perk of having parents with money. You get to drive your dad's nice car.
Listen, the first thing before my dad even showed me how to drive, the first thing he did was interact with me and show me how to act when you get pulled over. I didn't even know how to drive yet. He's like, listen, you get pulled over, you turn these lights on. You put these windows down. You turn the music off. You put your hands on the wheel. This is what my dad told me before I even knew how to drive. He was like, before I teach you how to drive, I'm gonna teach you how to interact with the police when they pull you over.
Yo, my dad was the worst. My dad was like, don't look forward. Don't make eye contact. Don't put bass in your voice. He would do the exact opposite.
I was about to say, your dad said that?
He would do the exact opposite.
And if they
extra bass, snatch you by your uniform, pull you in the car, beat you in the head, the whole thing.
Oh, that's because your dad wanted to protect you.
I mean,
don't do what I do.
My dad's favorite line.
Not what I do.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Because he wanted action.
He wanted all the smoke. All the smoke. Yo, shout to all the parents calling in right now. Ashley, I want to come to you real quick. Ashley, you work for a child care organization.
Yeah, so I work for a child care organization. We're set to open back up first week of July to host kids back for summer camp. And I have to really break it down to my CEOs and to the administrators who there's only one Black administrator that we have to talk about why it's important to talk to our children about the current events and the trauma that they might be experiencing and how we have to train staff to be able to have conversations with our kids who's going to come to us with questions and come to us hurt and come to us mad. You know, we have children from age 6 to 13, and I think if we ignore it, we're just part of the problem because they're with us for 8 hours of their day or 6 hours of their day.
And here goes the tough part. Here goes the tough part for your administrators. To have that conversation, they got to get with all the parents and make sure it's okay to have that conversation. And if some of the parents don't agree with y'all having a conversation, then the conversation doesn't happen. And then there's parents who aren't equipped to even have it at home. So they're ignoring it, but their kids are seeing it. They're hearing it in passing. Yep. If you have a kid that's older than 5, older than 4, they're absorbing the energy in the world right now. Whether they know it, whether you know it, they know it or not. They've walked past the TV, they've heard a radio, they've seen something.
Walked in a protest.
Seen a protest. What's going on out here? Why are people carrying signs? What's really going on? And as a parent, if you're not getting out in front of it and having the conversation so that they can understand, you're making a huge mistake because we are living through a moment in history right now. And I didn't even realize until a few minutes ago when I started having, when I really just was having that energetic feeling, how much stress I was under. Because a lot of things I pack away so that I could come in here and do this show every day.
You don't pack away feelings, Ebro.
Okay. All right. Y'all know.
Yeah.
I pack things away so we could gather around this morning, right? And we can get together and have some fun and some dialogue. So I pack my own pain away and try to engage with the squad and y'all listening, the family, the greater Ebro in the Morning family. But the truth is, the amount of times I've said in the last 2 weeks that I've been having this same conversation on the radio for my entire career, which is 30 years. When it was unpopular and the program directors would be like, why you want to talk to this community activist? Why you having this person on? This doesn't get ratings. Why are you playing this song? Navigating all of that in this game and tucking away how you actually feel about things because you know it's not popular. That's a thing. And I know there's people in media who feel this. What? You work at a newspaper, you work somewhere, and you're like, yo, this is what needs to be talked about. And they're telling you, ain't nobody watching that. Ain't nobody clicking on that story. Ain't nobody care about that. People don't care about this. And you're seeing the metrics, and you're realizing, wow, people really don't care about it. So if I care about it and nobody's there to support me, I'm going to lose my job.
Most media people are not even allowed to express themselves. Stick to the music, stick to entertainment. That's it. We don't want to divide our audience. We don't want to risk ratings. That happens all the time.
Wasn't Charlemagne on with Stephen Colbert the other night? Yes. And saying that he didn't want to interview Rush Limbaugh? Mm-hmm. And he was told that they had to think about that. You were told you had to talk to an old racist white man who's about to die. It's your job. Your corporation told you that that's what you were supposed to do. Whoa. Now, what's about to come out, you're seeing all these people want to remove the term urban.
Oh my God. Now you want to talk about something you've been on for a long time. I mean, since I met you 9 years ago, if someone in a meeting mentions, well, you know what, urban, you will cut them off and be like, urban? And it's just now becoming a thing.
So ask yourself, when everybody's talking about Black inclusion, you know how many Black artists that are out there don't make hip hop or R&B? They might make pop sounding rock. They may make country. They may make blues. They may make. Does the radio station that plays that music play those Black artists?
Nope.
Turn on Z100. How many black artists is on Z100? So black folks have been relegated to just hip hop and R&B. And so record labels, when they sign a black artist, they push them to make hip hop and R&B because they know country radio won't play it. That's why I went so hard for Lil Nas X. I went that hard specifically because I knew this is gonna drive them crazy.
And it did. They wouldn't.
The
even
biggest
count it
song
for
last year. I went hard for that because I know artists like Gary Clark Jr., artists like Brittany Howard, who are young right now, out here making blues, rock, soul. They don't get no airplay, son. So now you want to remove the word urban. So the challenge next is going to be, hey, record labels, are you signing black artists that don't make hip hop and R&B? And are you making sure that they have a marketing budget so that they could go out and get airplay? And I dare a radio station to not play it. Because the battleground lines for black music have been drawn around hip hop and R&B. If you see anytime anybody try to come in that space and ain't moving right, you up out of here. Because what happened was we lost rock and roll. It was taken from us. Country was taken from us. They don't barely let us in pop music.
Nope.
Unless the hip hop record becomes the pop record. Or, for a better term, popular.
And unless you're one of those random artists they've drafted to the pop world, in which case then they're almost taken from our world. We never even see them.
And artists have been talking about the Tyler, the Creator, has spoke out about it. K. Michelle, she's like, all she wanted to do was a country record. And they were like,
K. Michelle country record gonna get done now. Watch,
she wanted
independently.
a country album. And they were like, stick to R&B.
And I say all of that to say that while we're having this conversation, look around at your media, look around at your record labels and the artists that they play on the air. Everybody wants to be a part of this conversation. I bet you Z100 ain't even having this conversation on a regular basis.
You think?
And when I heard that they forced Charlemagne to talk to Rush Limbaugh, man, I heard y'all got something coming, Jack.
But do you actually believe that though? You're taking that at face value?
Why would he make it up?
Because he got roasted for sitting down with Rush Limbaugh.
So you're saying Charlemagne's a liar?
Are you asking me that live on the radio?
Yes.
Yes, I believe he wanted to do that interview. I believe he thought that would be a great troll and people would talk about it. But I also would believe iHeart is bad enough to make him do it. The question is, how can I trust that? And Charlemagne has more power in that company right now, arguably, than Rush Limbaugh. Charlemagne's one of the most powerful voices in radio, period. I think he could tell them to go scratch if they want him to do something. Charlemagne could say, I'm not doing it. You know how bad they want to re-sign him right now? Stop. I'm sorry. I don't want to be that guy, but I don't believe that necessarily.
Listen, it's a reckoning coming and people better pay attention. And going back to when I first went off a few minutes ago, you've had ample moments in history to pay attention. Police officers, you've had ample time to make changes on your own without the involvement of politicians and protests, but you didn't do it. And now we're here. Now we're here. So don't come to me and ask me what you should do. Ask yourself, what would I do if people who look like me were getting killed because they just look like me? Stop asking us, because we've already told you for generations. Top 97. Call right now, you want to get paid.
Facts. It's all facts.
I got caught up, man.
It's all facts.
All I had to do was make my argument about the football thing and send Ebro to a whole nother. It took you to the next level, bro.
Because I was trying not to come at you. I was trying to be like, yo, your motherfucking ass couldn't even.
You should. By the way, you could have. I wouldn't
couldn't
mind.
even abandon the Redskins.
By the way, I've been thinking about that again too.
Now they kneeling with kente cloth singing Kumbaya. Fuck out of here.
I was about to come for both of y'all. I was like, nah, it's gonna take me down a rabbit hole. Johnny, you was talking about it was confusing. Shit wasn't confusing. Even if it was, you was supposed to say it wasn't.
Hey,
you knew what you were supposed to do. You were supposed to say it's not confusing.
It's not confusing. Cut off.
Run the play. Y'all saw the play. Run the fucking play.
Listen. This is literally a semantics argument. I just stand by that. It was confusing.
It was, but y'all knew the fucking play.
Yeah, now the play was. Don't fuck with it.
And as we said a million times, I really wish if it had been like,
bro.
Hey, here's the play. Can't come from Ebro. The play was coming from Ebro. And I listen to Ebro every day, so I can't take every play from him. I'm already taking 80 plays.
Now run the goddamn
The play had to come from the top.
Don't watch football was the play. There was just convoluted distractions all in it. But don't watch. For me, it was easy because I don't even fuck with it anyway.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Cass is like, the play was easy.
Nah,
the play was.
It's the same thing. He stood up. Nobody supported him. It's the same thing in a microcosm.
Yeah, but that's why.
But there were tons of people who watched and all wanted him to have the right to kneel.
Right, but it's also why.
It wasn't even about the right to kneel. It's just
right, but it's also like, let's take something that just happened. Defund the police.
That's what
people were like, yo, what does that mean? What are you saying? Let's cut right to it. Cut the bullshit. Take money away from them. Defund them. Take money away and move it. That's what the fuck they're saying. And it could be different depending on where you are. Sometimes our job, and I saw AOC tweet it the other day. She was like, coming after protesters and fucking grassroots organizations for not having a clear message. That's not their job. It's the job of politicians to make the message clear. Their job is to start the shit.
Themselves to understand.
It's their job is to start the fucking shit. Yeah, take me to Brooklyn.
No, are you using any audio?
If we can make it tight because we have Kurtis Blow at 8:50. Trying to get him before
Man. You know, what y'all want to do right now? You want to run the play? Guru, flashing lights.
No, Guru.
Whoa. We got Andrea Stewart Cousins coming on after 9. She's the Senate Majority Leader up in Albany.
It's very important information.
Very important information about new laws. Laws. Anytime they said that they say the word ban, we should start asking where's the law. We cannot trust institutions, specifically police departments, to just ban things and expect that their staff is going to comply. Laws. And so we're going to be talking about laws and the new ones in New York State after 9 a.m.
Oh, when you brought that up earlier, Ebro, I mentioned the thing about voting, because I noticed there's still a lot of energy around, I don't know, messages to me that feel like subtle voter suppression. Messages about like just how bad the Democrats are and how bad, all these candidates are. And Keke Palmer posted something I just thought was interesting. She posted about the quote, "I don't like any of the candidates." Shawnee, I'm gonna pose this to you, because we know that you talk sometimes about voting. We go have a back and forth. She said, "Let me pose this question. If you're on an island and you're starving, but have few great options for food, are you going to choose the best out of the few okay options you have, the one that aligns most with your appetite, or are you going to starve to death and die? Up to you, just asking."
Yeah, I saw that quote.
What did you think about it?
I liked it. I get it.
Because I feel like I see a lot of people suggesting starve to death right now. And
I think that's a negotiation tactic. I think what Diddy, Charlemagne,
and I don't just mean them, by the way. There's a lot of places.
Yeah, there's a lot. Nick Cannon, but they're the most kind of high profile that are saying, listen, unless a candidate is telling us directly what they're going to do for Black people, and we like it, and it aligns with what we want, I'm not sure they're going to get my vote.
Right. They're holding their vote hostage.
Right, holding the vote. That energy, which is why I said I appreciate it when Diddy said it. That is the energy that voters should have. And other voting groups have. Evangelicals have it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, they vote, but they're one-issue voters a lot of times.
Right, but they have it, and they have their issues. And I want that to become the convo. I'm glad that's happening. Yes, I think everybody knows that we need to get Trump out of there, and he's untrustworthy. And maybe, and I'm overstating when I say everybody. Maybe everybody doesn't know. Or everybody doesn't care. Because one of the things that I want everybody to remember about what we're dealing with right now, whether it is Donald Trump being the president, whether it is COVID-19, and whether it is police brutality and making laws change, I want you to think of the word selfish. Trump's president because his voters, they're selfish. They're only thinking about themselves and their bank accounts. COVID-19, you were being asked to wear a mask to think about other people, about not being selfish. Police brutality, Black folks have been screaming and yelling and protesting for generations to say, hey, pay attention to us. The police that you love and think are so great are not great to us. We were asking the rest of America to not be selfish.
Yeah.
It's all the same thing, man. Not watching football, selfish. That's where we are, is because as a nation culturally, when you think of what this nation represents, it represents materialism and debauchery.
Go for self.
Self.
Capitalism.
And are you saying that it makes sense that as a result, you have people being selfish and saying, we now need blank. This is what we need. You can get my vote if you deliver what we need.
Once again, selfish.
And what I would say to that is,
and people are asking Black folks now to not be selfish when everybody else has always been selfish.
But I would argue the opposite. I would argue to be selfish is to make sure that the right people are in to take this thing as far as it can go. Be selfish.
What you're saying is not wrong. I'm trying to explain the other side.
Why we got there.
How we're here now is because now everybody's like, the Democrats specifically, we can't get to the White House without the Black vote.
Right.
Okay, Well, let's talk then. Now that you're openly saying what we already knew.
Right, that you needed us.
Right? Now, it's uncomfortable that this negotiation is coming at a time where literally America needs us. But guess what America needs to do? Open your goddamn mouth and say that you need us. And put your money where your mouth is. Because if you need us so bad, say it. And you know my favorite, bend the knee.
Now, hold on. Last question. I know we got to wrap, and we can't make this 10 minutes, but I do want to ask you, Ebro, have you seen, I know Joe Biden's dancing a little bit around defund the police. What are people going to hold him to? He needs to say defund the police specifically.
They might.
How do you think that plays out?
They might. They might.
It's a wait and see.
And you look. I'm a mature voter. The Keke Palmer analogy, it works for me because I've been voting a long time, and I also don't expect the real work to come at the presidential level.
You ideally just want someone who's not working against all the other work you're trying to do on local levels.
Boom.
And right now we have someone working against everything. He came out yesterday and said, no, I'm not changing the name of any bases. No, I'm not. He's fighting actively against it. He's going to speak in Tulsa, Oklahoma on Juneteenth as a message to speak against the progress.
That's right. And here locally in New York, that's why and we'll go all the way back. That's why Laura put us on the AOC. And we got AOC in. There's a young man by the name of Jamal Bowman. We're about to get him in. Michael Blake.
We need to get Michael Blake in. Ruben Diaz Sr.
Yo, Ruben Diaz Sr., go sit down, bro. I already talked to your son about you.
Nah.
We still, the family loves you. It's time to go sit down, Ruben Diaz Sr.
Take off the cowboy hat and go
It's time to
inside
go sit down.
immediately.
Go sit down, bro. You know what I'm saying? And you know, Jamani Williams, Eric Adams. We locally are putting together our coalition of individuals to make sure we can do our business and handle our business and keep these police, and I mean this pun is intended, keep these police off our neck. And keep these politicians focused. Shout to Erica Ford and the whole Life Camp movement and all of the CMS. What's CMS stand for again? I forgot the acronym that they use, but they are the de-escalators in the community that the police in the city work with because they are on the ground in the community.
I love my life organization.
Yeah, the de Blasio just gave $10 million more.
Erica Ford does incredible work, man. People like her are so needed.
So we got to keep the momentum going. We got to keep it on. And I'm going to just say again, for everybody out there listening, if you are looking at if you don't even live next door to black people, ask your neighborhood why. If you work at a job and there's no black people there, ask why. Just do something. Yo, how come why you? I noticed. The answer might be no black people want to live here or work here because it don't smell right over.
I'm about to say, but why? But then you got to ask why. Then you got to become a little kiddie, bro.
It
Just
don't
ask
feel
why
safe
again.
over there.
You got to have the follow-up why.
But
Hey,
why?
why don't any black people live here? Oh, they don't want to live here. Why? Keep going. Well, why? Because you're gonna get a reason why.
And if that's your reality, shame on you. They're a part of the problem. Let's get somebody paid, man. Before Andrew Stewart Cousins gets here and we talk about these new laws. Have a grand helping hand. Let's get this money. You can get it again at 4 o'clock today with Nessa and Camilo. Hot 97, hello.
Morning.
Yo, man, wake up, bro. You all right?
Hey, how you doing?
You all right over there?
Yeah, I'm all right.
All right, you just woke up?
Yo. Yeah, just waking up.
Oh, man, yo. Yo, shout to you, bro. You rolled over, called the radio station, and got $500.
There you go.
$500. What's your name, man?
That's great, man. That's great. It's Max.
Max, man, you getting paid today, brother. Thank you for locking in. You healthy over there? The family safe? Everybody healthy?
Yeah, we're doing pretty good.
Well, here's some money for you. Hold this $500. Everybody else, thank you for listening. He wasn't too talkative. He's like one of those. He's not a morning person.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, this is great.
Yeah, I called. I should get it. So
Todd 9.
Straight to the point.
We got Kurtis Blow on.
Kurtis Blow.
And then
we only got 5. We got Keisha.
Yep.
What time is Keisha Lance?
9.
What's up?
Yo. Turn it down.
It's just audio only? Oh, there he is.
It's right there.
Yep.
Oh, there he is, the legend, the first superstar rapper, Kurtis Blow. What's happening, sir?
All right. Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, man. Yo, first of all, for the audience, I want y'all to know we are celebrating the breaks. Wow. These are the breaks. Bring it up, bring it up, bring it up.
How many years?
40 years, man. The 40th anniversary of the breaks.
Yeah,
40.
man.
Can you believe it, man? Can you really believe that it's been 40 years?
It's incredible. I mean, it's like, seems like yesterday, you know? Wow.
Now,
40 years later.
Kurtis, was the breaks your first single?
No. Christmas Rap was my first
Christmas
single.
Rap was your first single. Okay.
Yes, that came out in 1979, December 19th. And just a big shout out to radio around the nation, man. Thank you.
They took to it right away, huh?
It's an annual classic. They play it every year. And I thank you guys, man. Thank you.
So you wrote those lyrics, you still get a paycheck. You own that publishing.
Well, yeah. The publishing is still good. I mean, you know, I have over 200 songs I wrote and were a part of in my career, over 200 songs. So the publishing is not bad.
Now, do you remember the first DJ or time or moment that you heard the breaks be played outside the studio?
Yes. It was played on the radio. I heard it. Frankie Crocker actually played it. It was a big situation for me. I was in my car riding around. I heard my song on the radio and almost crashed. It was such a great feeling. You know, I can't explain it. To hear your song on the radio, that is the greatest feeling to have. You know, is that success. And I was 21.
Wow. How did you now? Russell Simmons was your manager, right?
Well, actually, Russell Simmons became my manager shortly after we released the breaks. And it was my producer. I had 2 producers who did my first 5 albums, J.B. Moore and Robert Ford. Now, Robert Ford just passed away like 2 weeks ago. So rest in peace to Rocky. That was my dude. He taught me so much. But Rocky was the guy who convinced me to make Russell my manager. He explained to me, and that was my buddy and everything. Russell and I had an argument, a falling out, and we split up. But Russell he introduced me to the producers, and that's how I got the record deal. And but so to repay him for introducing me to Rocky convinced me to make him my manager. And the rest is history. He went on to become this big hip hop mogul, billionaire, doing his thing.
How do you feel when you see the term the breaks? Because didn't VH1 have a show called The Breaks?
Right. I mean, you know, you have to take it with it comes with the career.
Well, in a way, it's a shout out, right? It's paying homage.
It is. It keeps the name alive, of course. I did not get a payday, or did I get to work on the actual project? which was a little painful, but just to see the name out there resurfacing again and just going around as a concept of a show, the breaks, you know what I mean, is dealing with hip hop. So that keeps the name out there. So now when we celebrate the 40th anniversary, it's not such a distant thing that you have to pull up out of your subconscious mind, because it's so way deep in your memory that you got to pull it up again. So it's you know, it's there, it's on the surface now, so we can party and say, okay, yeah, I remember, all right, because of that show. So
do you remember? Oh, go ahead, Laura. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Did you hear Swiss Beats talking about wanting to put together a fund to help the godfathers of hip hop, and having people like LL Cool J support him? And how do you feel about that?
I think it's a great idea. As a matter of fact, I was talking to LL about this when the pandemic, the coronavirus hit and everything was shut down. And I was just so fearful about the future and what's going to happen. We can't do any concerts. We can't do any shows, any events, no clubs, now you can't even go to a bar. And so I'm talking to LL, what we going to do, man? We got all our people, you know, I'm cool. I can hold up for about 6 months to a year, you know, but there are a lot of cats out there from the old school, about 200 or 300 of us who don't have an income right now, and how they're going to pay their bills, how they're going to pay their, you know, light bill and everything, and their rent, and this is crazy. What we're going to do, L? And he was like, oh, well, you know. And then I hear Swiss Beats and LL are going to try and hook up the old school like that. So I thought it was a great idea. Even if I don't get a paycheck, I'm glad to see that at least my peers and the people that I care about from the old school hip hop days, you know, will get some kind of help, financial help. That would be incredible.
Do you feel
a lot of people are hurting?
And yeah, that's crazy to think about, because, you know, it's nice to know that you're all right, but you're still accustomed to that income. And there are obviously other people who weren't nearly as successful as you, Kurtis, who I'm sure really struggle. Do you feel that in spite of some of those things, you've gotten your due respect and appreciation? Do you feel like you get the props from the younger generation that you deserve?
You know, I could get caught up in that situation, but I try, you know, I'm living my life now these days, and I'm so much more happier than I've ever been in my lifetime, because of just the nature of my health and having these crazy heart operations. Man, I died.
An operation last year, right, Kurtis?
You know what I mean? I died maybe about 4 or 5 times. You know, every time you have a serious operation, you almost die. You know what I mean? And so I'm having these operations, and I'm just praying to God and thanking God for the blessings and just sparing my life so many times. Like, you know, I feel like a cat with 9 lives almost. And I'm just living life so much more in a joyful state, appreciating the fact that I'm alive. And I'm concentrating more on that and just being happy and living my life on that level, you know what I mean? And then we get this pandemic, you know, the coronavirus, COVID-19, and now racism is at the forefront. God bless the cell phone for, you know, making all of these protests, and people are just standing up now. And I'm seeing all of man, so many white people and Asians and Latinos, multicultural people out there protesting. And man, I thought I would never see a white person say Black Lives Matter. And that's so incredible to me. It's so inspiring that there is hope. We have some hope out there. So I'm just living my life and taking day to day. And I don't try to get caught up in any negative thoughts and situations, because I'm just so joyful and happy right now, and just being alive. Amen.
We appreciate you, Kurtis. I hope that you know
We're
that
celebrating you today, man.
And we know that you are the first solo superstar in the history of hip hop, and we appreciate you.
Thank you so much, guys, man. You know, it's kind of hard to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the breaks right now in this present time, but just to take your mind off of the present situation and all the pain that's going around right now, I think we should take a break and just go and take it back to the old school when times were okay. And 1980 was my year. And I just thank everybody for supporting me and making it happen, especially you radio DJs, man. I love you guys. You made my career. You made my life. The legacy because of you guys. I want to thank all the fans, all the people who bought the record and listened and supported all these years. You guys are not my fans anymore. You're my friends. You hear me? And I want to thank the producers, JB Moore, Robert Ford, Russell Simmons, Reverend Run from Run DMC, DMX, DMC. I want to thank LL Cool J, so many people. Davey DMX, AJ the DJ, rest in peace, Robert Ford.
AJ Scratch, AJ.
Rest in peace, my man, Lovebuck Starsky, Silksky. I want to thank my family, my wife of 36 years, and all my kids, all my family from New York to North Carolina to Detroit, Chicago, and out here in LA as well. And thank you, Ebro, for giving me the opportunity to say thank you to everyone.
Nah, we're going to run the record right now, man. It's Ebro in the morning, Laura Styles, Rosenberg, celebrating 40 years. Right now, Kurtis Blow, the original hip-hop superstar rapper. These are the breaks. Break it up, break it up, break it up.
Thanks, Kurtis.
All right, you got it.
Yo, love, man. Thank you, sir.
All right, you're welcome. Thank you.
Take
care, man.
All right, peace.
We got Keisha here?
Keisha, Lance. Keisha's coming on now. Kurtis, thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon because we got to catch up on the Hip Hop Museum too.
Okay. All right, Ebro. We'll
All
talk.
right, sir. Take care.
Peace.
Aw,
Kurtis Blow.
so dope.